My name's Jay Shaffer. I'm from Wimber, Pennsylvania. It's about 2 hours outside of Robert Morris University. And I'm currently a full-time production director at WTAJ News, as well as a film editor for the promotional side of the studio. So I've been involved with video for a pretty long time, actually. I kind of started when I was roughly 10 or 11 years old. I was actually with my next door neighbor, Dustin, and I would catch myself stealing my mom's little Handycam photography camera, like $30 camera you get at Walmart anymore, but I would steal those and we would just want to make YouTube videos. We were so fascinated by the idea of YouTube, so we just wanted people to see what we could get into, just like the comedy. We were trying to make funny videos for a while, and me and him eventually both picked up on skateboarding, and for quite some time we were just kind of in the learning stages, and we were watching these tutorials on like how to skateboard, how to do certain tricks, and we wanted to do those tutorials. So we were like teaching ourselves to skate in hopes that we could also make those tutorials to kind of help people, and then that sort of took off on its own. Dustin didn't end up sticking with skateboarding, but I did, and I made a bunch of new friends when I lived in Connecticut at the time, and it kind of expanded from there. One of my good friends named Jesse Longo would make a lot of different skateboarding edits, like little montages of just things he would compile over about like a week of different like skateboarding with all of his friends, and I wanted to do that, so I started to do that, and it all kind of took off from there, and it's been going strong ever since. So like most people, I wanted to go to school for video in hopes of getting my degree and then getting a job, because when you're coming out of high school and you're going into college, your mindset is that you're going to get your degree and then you're going to go walk into work the next day or whatever. And obviously it's not necessarily the case, and you kind of learn that upon graduation, that it's not necessarily super easy to just kind of get a job right out of college like you kind of expect it to be. But I kind of went into college feeling like I sort of had an upper hand, because I was making videos for 7 or 8 years going up until me going into school. So I guess I tried to think like I had an upper hand on like the technology side of things, but I ended up learning a lot more than I expected to when I went to college. So going to school, I think really, really helped me progress my skills, and I do think it was actually worth the time that I dedicated and the money that I put into it as well. Not necessarily for reasons that I learned a lot of things, like how to run a camera or how to edit. I mean, I did learn a little bit of things here and there, but I think what really helped me with school was my approach to film and video, and like my thought process around it, because we have a bunch of different professors at RMU that sort of have different backgrounds, and they all have different ways and different styles of teaching. They're not all, I think they're not all the same as they used to be when I was here, but everybody had their own different style of teaching. We had Michael DeLauro, who was like, here's your rubric, you need to do this, 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 this. And then we have Carolina Loyola Garcia, who kind of said, hey, here's the idea, take it and see what you can do with it. And she kind of gave you your time, but Michael DeLauro had his deadlines. And I think from each of those two professors especially, I got a lot from different I got a lot of different perspectives from both sides of those things. And they're things that I don't think I could have necessarily learned myself. Nowadays, any filmmaker can really teach themselves or watch YouTube videos, or just, start creating and then meet people and learn in the industry that way. But having that ambition and like that mentality of like wanting to create and pushing yourself to create better and learning from your own work is something that I learned here that I would not take away from anything else. With where I'm at now, I truthfully don't know if I would go back and do anything differently. I am happy and satisfied with my end result, if I put it that way. If anything, I think I would maybe just dedicate some more of my time towards like freelance work and promoting myself, things like that. Just because maybe that would have benefited me and I could have had like more potential clients to work with at the time. But maybe if anything, I would have went to school like part-time and like made my college career a little longer, so that I could like put more focus into freelance stuff and my own actual work separate from school. But at the same time, I think the decision that I made, which was to dedicate all my video work and film into school, sort of benefited me in the long run, because I was able to use a lot of like my demo reel footage that I got from school towards getting a job, and I inevitably did get a job. So it wasn't really like, it's not a bad end result, but if there was anything, maybe just, more self-promotion, things like that. So originally my dream job in the film industry was just to make movies. So it was like the big general statement of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make movies. And then in my head I realized, okay, well, you need to go to Hollywood and you need to get into that industry and start at the bare bottom and like be a production assistant for a couple years and give water to people and make sure they don't get lost, and like all those crazy horror stories you hear about being a production assistant in Hollywood. And you just slowly work your way up the chain like any other big business corporation. But over time, especially after I graduated and I've been continuing to make my own projects, I think what my dream now would be to just be actively involved in the indie film industry. So same general statement of I want to make movies someday, but the beauty of the indie film industry is they work off of shoestring budgets a lot of the time, and the industry is really revolved around the idea of storytelling and what creative new story can you tell on whatever budget you have, whatever small crew you have. You can get big name actors and put names into things like that, and then you work off of the like film competitions across the globe. You got things like Sundance and Tribeca film festivals, like big film festivals that can get you recognized in the industry as a whole. But Hollywood, to me, not hating on Hollywood or anything, but I mean, I just don't think it's for me, because I feel like a lot of the elements of storytelling have sort of gotten lost within Hollywood, and I don't really like that so much. I like pushing, like as a writer and a creator as a whole, like a director or whatever you want to call it, creating those new stories that will challenge the mind of the audience, or single out some audience members and make them really feel something. I feel like that's far more powerful than creating the next big blockbuster and making money. You know what I mean? My dream isn't to make millions of dollars. It's to just have a positive impact on the world in some way, whether that's sheer entertainment for someone or to touch somebody's life in a positive way that makes the world a better place. So I feel like the indie film community would be a way that I could do that. So as far as collaboration goes within the industry, not only do I think it helps the industry as a whole, I think more importantly, it actually helps you as a creator. I think you're helping yourself, but you're also helping the fellow creators that you are collaborating with. We're all in this same hustle of trying to make a name for ourselves as a filmmaker, and you can't do it all by yourself. As much as we like to say, yeah, we're the run and gun filmmakers that just want to go out and we can do it all by ourselves. We can direct and film and set up lights and run audio and do all this all on our own. And like, to an extent, it's not always inaccurate. We can, but you learn a lot from other people just the same as they're learning off of you. And even though you're trying to get that upper hand over some people, you need to work with those fellow creators to make yourself a better creator, and you're inevitably helping them as well. And in the end, isn't that what we all really want? We want everybody to progress and continue pushing ourselves and learning to where we're, because the people you work with are going to be probably the people you continue to work with for a long period of time, and developing those connections not only allows the industry to create more and better productions, and it's less saturated by all these individual people, like the people who like make YouTube videos and they're all individual creators. And now look at YouTube, it's saturated with millions of people. So like the filmmaking industry, when you all compile to make one great thing, you all agree and you all can say you all did that one insanely awesome thing. And then down the road, when someone else wants to do something, you hop on that bandwagon with them and do the exact same thing. And then all together, you're creating bigger and better things as a whole. So as far as inspirations go, I thought long and hard about this one, but I don't think it's necessarily a person like a lot of people try to reach for, is like, oh, this person inspires me and this person inspires me. I mean, I had a hard time with that because, to be honest, a lot of people inspire me. And I think when you try to narrow your inspirations to one person, you kind of get confined. So rather than say a person, I'm just going to say my biggest inspiration is more of a feeling. And to quickly sum that, there's that feeling, I mean, as any fellow filmmaker will know this feeling, when you start from absolutely nothing. Your first you type the title of your script on your paper and you have like a 10-page, 15, 20-page script. And then when it's done and you know that you started this idea and it completed, it's like we're creators, we're artists. So like any artist that's painting a picture and it's completed and they can hang it in a gallery. When you complete a video or a short film and you have people watching that and you have people telling you that like, wow, you did this and like this is actually really cool, there's genuinely no better feeling in the world than that, knowing and just seeing, whether it's good or bad or anything. When you come to that, when you have that final product and you can say, I did this, and from absolutely nothing, and some people didn't think I could do this, or I was so grateful to have these people help me, and it's completed, that feeling is something I would not take away for the world. I want to continue to have that feeling, and I think that right there is something that continues to motivate me and inspire me to continue to make my own projects, even after graduation, when we're not being told to make projects. You know what I mean? I have a full-time job at a news station, but I told myself, even in school, no matter what full-time job I had, I was going to continue to create my own things, because that feeling right there is worth achieving again and again. No matter if you have little time or a lot of time or no equipment or a lot of equipment, you still want that, and nothing's better than that. Nothing at all.